Welcome to Sisterhood Sessions.
Join us on the couch every Thursday to talk about love, dating, happiness, and everything in between.
From a Gen Z
and a millennial perspective.
We are your intimate sisters, and we're all about entertaining, motivating, and inspiring you.
Now let's get into it.
Being single is underrated.
Welcome back, you guys.
I'm putting it out there because it's true.
It's true. So today we're doing a deep dive into singledom. We're going to talk about the fear of being single, the benefits of being single, and our experiences as single gals.
It's a fun time. We've briefly touched on it in some of our other episodes. If you've listened to them, and if you haven't, go do that. There's quite a few out now, so
yeah,
go listen to the previous episodes. But so now, today we want to do, a little deep dive.
Yeah, get into the meat and potatoes of things.
Are you me?
Sorry.
What are they? Oh my gosh. We're going to have so many catchphrases to put onto t-shirts that you will all need to buy at some point.
Yeah, who doesn't want a shirt that says meat and potatoes?
You scrapped our second episode where I said, was saying secret sauce on the burger of life.
Yeah, that was cute though, kind of. No. I thought it was cute.
Well, it's funny. It's comedic. I'm already having some of the things I say repeated back to me.
Are you really? No way. That's so cute.
Remember, Sarah, you're on a journey. It's funny. It's a funny time.
It's great.
It's comedic. It makes me laugh.
It's good.
Anyway,
what's so scary about being single?
There's so much to it. I mean, we were talking about this earlier and kind of going over what we wanted to talk about today, and it's really rooted in the patriarchy and misogyny. You even brought up religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it 100% is. When you think about it, right, when you go back into it, this scariness of, women shouldn't be single after a certain age, it's really about a way to keep control over women, right? They should be attached to a man, and men should kind of, control their lives and their freedom and their autonomy and their voice and all of that. And so, even thinking about, I read this and I was like, I cannot believe this is true, but it's true. That women weren't allowed to open their own bank accounts without their husband's consent and signature. In Canada, it was 1964. In the U.S., it was 1974.
My grandmother, she was born in the mid-40s. She ended up, I don't even remember when she got married, but before the 60s, because that's when my mom was born. Everything was under her husband, my grandfather's name. Mm-hmm. And so when he passed away in the late 2000s, she had to start everything from scratch. She had no credit score. It was so hard. She had to get like a prepaid visa with like small increment amounts so she could it was a whole thing. But she had to, in her 60s, kind of restart this whole process, which women are now able to do in their late teens, early 20s, of building up a credit score, getting a credit card, getting all this information put in her name. And it's kind of a scary thing to navigate, but it's so crazy that, that was the normal back then, to have everything open in your husband's name, but she didn't even have the option to have it under her own name back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Ridiculous.
It's insane to think about. And it happens in so many ways, right? I know my mother was discouraged from pursuing any higher education by her own parents. You're a woman. Why would you need to go to university? Just get married.
Yeah.
And it happens in so many ways. This kind of like forcing us to be dependent on on somebody else. And I'm so glad that, we're able to live in a time now where
we can be independent.
Yeah.
After years and years of fighting for it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to all of those women who really
before us.
Yeah, who really fought for us to be able to have that independence. That's massive.
Mm-hmm.
But another interesting thing to look at is the language that's used to describe single women, particularly once they reach a certain age. Spinster or old maid. Like, and then what they called men. Eligible bachelor. Like, are you kidding?
The proof is in the pudding.
There's another one.
Okay, at least that one's a common saying and not some weird food-related one we made up on the spot.
No, but it's so true. And this is another thing that shocked me that I read about, is when you have like a census where like the government sends out a form to all of its citizens and asks you to fill in your personal information for statistical purposes. It wasn't until 2005 that the UK removed a little box that single women who were unmarried women had to tick. Spinster. Like,
2005.
That's insane. Are you like, I'm so shocked by that.
Yeah. And even how women are addressed. There's Miss, spelled two ways, and then Mrs.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're married, you become a Mrs., but the man will always be Mr.
The same in French. It's the same in French. It's Monsieur, and then for a woman, it's Mademoiselle if she's unmarried, and then Madame. There's some backlash surrounding that now. You're apparently not supposed to use those, I guess, diminutive terms, for lack of a better word, because it goes against gender equality, right? So, but in any case, it's just this, for me, like this conversation around being single at an older age. It kind of, is close to the vest for me, because I am, I guess, considered to be like of mature age. Like, I technically should have been married by now,
mm-hmm.
right? If I were to go by societal standards and familial expectations and whatever else. Like, I look at all of my peers and, girls I went to high school with, and the majority of them are married, and a lot of them already have children, and mm-hmm. I'm in my early 30s and I'm single. But see, like, for me, it's like I celebrate that.
Yeah.
It's something, well, in some ways I celebrate it. In other ways, I'd be lying if I said I didn't also have those thoughts of, like, that's scary. Like,
to be where you are and not have that person that...
Yeah, will I ever meet someone,
mm-hmm.
right, that I want to marry? So it's for sure a bit scary, but it's something that I'm coming to terms with, and I'm actually really enjoying.
Well, I feel like most women, a lot of women are, staying single for either longer periods of time or maybe their entire lives. Divorce rates are super high, and there's even studies that show that women have a longer lifespan when being single.
It's so true. It's actually really true. So it kind of, it's reflected statistically in both men and women, but like the amount of people who are remaining unmarried in their 40s has doubled since 2002.
That's shocking.
It is, like, it's, but I think it has a lot to do with the way society is evolving, where, like, the millennials are really rejecting those societal norms. We've also briefly talked about that in previous episodes, where we're not abiding by the rules that, were existed before we came along, and I think that's pretty awesome, right? I think it might stem from the fact that a lot of us were and are children of divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I'm a child of divorce, and I really don't want to settle. I don't want to get married to get married,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a child of separation, not a legal divorce. But with that, we don't want to, follow in our parents' footsteps. We don't want to get married and get a divorce and have whatever future children may come our way have to experience what we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like essentially I don't want to have kids who grow up watching me hate my partner. And
it does a lot.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it does a lot.
Mm-hmm. It really does. So why... I want to talk about why women get married, right? Because there's a little list that we came up with, and it's certainly not an exhaustive list, and it's not meant to offend anybody. But I think, frankly, a lot of women get married for the following reasons. I think it's economically necessary for a lot of women to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to have kids. I think it's a more respectable thing to be married. I think it's to avoid social ostracism and to live up to societal expectations. And obviously, we're not saying that people are not getting married because they love their partners or because whatever it is. But I think all of those things really play into why a lot of women still have this goal that they want to get married one day, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you kind of look back as well, if we're going to go kind of for the financial security in being married, is then you have double income, which is better for affording a place to live in this day and age, and then to support a potential family you want to start. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, also if we go back years and years, when it was a man working a 40-hour work week to provide for his family, that was enough for that one person to provide for about 4 people. Mm-hmm. Now, someone works a 40-hour work week, and that's maybe just getting by if you have a lucky, high-paying role. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't get that luxury of just working those set hours. So now, yeah, we as women are lucky enough to get to work, get an education, get these jobs, but it's still, we're in a day and age where that's not enough. Things are so expensive. Yeah. That's not enough. You need a double income to get by a lot of the times.
That's very true.
It's scary and it's unfortunate.
It's super unfortunate, and it's a frustrating situation to be in. It's, yeah, I wish I didn't have to have a roommate.
Fair.
Yeah. But, we're talking about all of these, these negative things, and, why are people getting married, and all of these this terminology and all of these statistics that are, kind of demoralizing about singledom. What about the benefits of being single?
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I love being single.
Me too!
It's so fun and freeing and liberating. Mm-hmm. Just not have to worry about another person.
Yeah.
Weight off my shoulders.
Preach.
Yeah, there's so many benefits. There's a lot of health benefits to it too.
That's actually one of the things that was interesting to read about was single people are generally healthier
and live longer.
There you go.
Especially single women.
Yeah. But you know what's cool is like the reasons for it were interesting. Like you have more spare time.
You're way more active.
Yeah, because you're going out and about, right? And you're doing fun things. You like single people are more likely to have like active hobbies. Like a lot of my single friends I know, they go to dance classes or they go play volleyball on the beach or whatever. And if you're married with kids, you don't
have the time for that.
No, you don't.
I mean, you can make the time, and I think there's also a balance. If you are to be in a healthy relationship, you're still going to incorporate these healthy physical activities, and with kids, I hope you involve healthy physical activities. But that's not the reality for a lot of people in relationships or with families.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very true. I think for me, the thing I love the most about being single is that I feel like I'm in the quote-unquote driver's seat of my life.
You get to control the narrative, and you don't have to take anyone else into consideration.
It's you know, in a way it's selfish, but in another way, like I get to decide everything that I want to do. It's like, you know, when you're on a holiday or you're on a trip with other people, and like some people are, you know, they get up in the morning and say, oh, let's go for a hike and whatever, and you kind of like feel obligated to go, but you really just want to spend the day by the pool. To me, when I think about a relationship, like that's what it feels like. I just want to be by the pool. Leave me alone, you know?
But yeah, if you're in a relationship, you're making compromises, doing what this person wants, and they'll make certain to do what you want. But if it's just you, you can make that decision for yourself.
You totally can. So being on the in the driver's seat is a really big one for me. Really, really big one. Mm-hmm. Also, like having the time and the space to really get to know myself again without like any external
factors.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Like I know when I've been in relationships in the past and I've expressed interest in some things, or you know, even when I was thinking I really wanted to start my own business, and I had an ex-partner say to me, you change your mind every 20 minutes. Like, why do you even bother like coming up with new ideas for things? And I'm like,
it's so discouraging.
It's so discouraging. Like, you know, if you're not going to be my cheerleader, just
leave.
Yeah, seriously.
Leave me alone.
Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing. Being single, I feel like we become so independent and so happy with ourselves. Mm-hmm. That if we are to let another partner in, they are going to be, you know, we're not going to lower our standards for anyone. Mm-hmm. And so the next person we allow in, they will be our cheerleader.
Yeah.
They will be all the positive things. They'll be someone we can be healthy with, be physically active with. Like, they will fit into our lives, and our lives won't conform around them. Mm-hmm. I love being single because it's much better for my bank account. My love language is gift giving, and it's a blessing and a curse. I spend too much money. Dates become expensive.
This girl is good at gifts.
I really can be. I really can be.
Yeah, you're very good at it. I always look forward to any day of the year where gifts are the norm.
Whoa, what is this little side eye?
Bombastic side-eye.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
I'm
really catching on to the Gen Z stuff. I'm trying really hard.
Okay, I don't give gifts all the time. They, you know, they come like little increments.
They do, and they're very.
I can't have you expect them.
No, they're They're very thoughtful gifts. They really are.
If I see something that, you know, reminds me of someone, I'll be, if I can afford it, I'm gonna get it. Yeah. It's out of my budget, then I'll send a picture and be like, look, I thought of you. That's at least still cute, but
I wish I could buy this for you, but
it made me think of you, so there's that. You're on my mind. Yeah, much better financially. Mm-hmm. The free time. I have time to dedicate to the gym, to my friends, to family. It's amazing, because one of my faults when I get into a relationship is, you know, I give my partner a lot of my time. Arguably too much. which, you know, now I'm working, I've become a lot busier, and I'm very content. I'm very happy with that, where someone else is going to come in and they have to fit with my schedule. I'm not adjusting it for anyone else like I have before. But it's so nice to see friends constantly. Like, it brings me so much joy. I genuinely feel way happier than when I'm in a relationship, or it's just because mine haven't been healthy. Being able to see my friends consistently, and I'm able to, you know, have a consistent gym schedule, because when I'm in a relationship, I give that up. Oh, I can't do that again.
No, but the friendship thing is a huge one, right? Like, it's like been proven that single people have more friends and stronger relationships with their friends, right? So even though you're quote unquote
there is a siren in every single video we film.
I mean, it wouldn't be Vancouver otherwise.
It's just unfortunate.
Anyway, as I was saying, you're not even though you're quote unquote alone, you're not lonely. And there's a huge distinction there. I think a lot of people think, oh, being single is so lonely. It's really not. It's almost as though you work harder to enrich your life, because you have to, you know, and you end up, I feel like I always feel more fulfilled in those time periods in my life where I am not attached at the hip to another human being, because I'm taking myself into consideration way more. I think a lot of women have this habit of putting themselves last, right? A lot of mothers, oh, I'm always going to put my kids first. I'm always going to put my husband first. Where does that leave you? You know? And that's one thing I absolutely want to avoid if I ever get married or have kids. I'm not saying that I won't value those people in my lives.
But you also need space. You need to make space for yourself.
100%. It's so important.
And also, you know, you want to make sure that whoever your future husband is will also make that space for you. Because I feel like, at least I think this is a personal thing for you and I, but probably a lot of other women feel this way, is since we're kind of in the more like mothery, nurturing roles just by nature, that we constantly make room for other people, especially our partners, and it's not reciprocated. And another siren!
Well, do you know what, though? I hope they're okay, whoever they are.
This is true. It is a hot day in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Wishing you the best. So many distractions.
They were so nurturing.
They really are.
Oh, man. But you know what? Like, to tie this all in, I feel like this episode so far has been really, like, focused on the negatives of, you know, like the fear of being single, and then, oh, it's so awesome to be single and whatever else. But, like, I think at the end of the day, we need to, like, finish this off, I guess, by mentioning that despite the fact that, you know, I really am enjoying this period of my life where I'm single and I'm getting to be myself really, and, like, I'm really coming into my own, which I don't think I would have done had I been attached. I do hope that one day I find a lifelong partner, you know? And it's an important dream and goal of mine, but not so important that I would ever, I would never again compromise myself, who I am, what I believe in, what my values are, what I need. I will never ever compromise that again for another person. So if that means that throughout this lifetime, nobody comes into my life who is able to give me that experience, then that's okay. So be it. And I'll do it on my own because I know that I can. I've proven to myself that I can, right? But if I do meet that person, I know that I am now better prepared, having experienced this extended period of being single, to know what I need and what I want from another person, and really be a better partner for that person as well. So either way, it's a win-win, right? Like, just, if I can give any advice, it's like, I spent all of my 20s jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship with no downtime. But take that time, at the very least, take a year, at the very, very least, and reflect on why it is that you're wanting so desperately to always be attached to another person. And reflect on, during that stage where you are single, what you've learned, how you've grown. And then take all of these experiences and take all of these things that you've learned and pour them into the next person who enters your life, if they enter your life, and if you want them to enter your life.
Yeah. I'm very grateful that I'm navigating this at my current age, because, as you just said, you spent your 20s jumping from partner to partner, and I'm very, very glad that I'm kind of ahead of that, and I'm 21, already realizing these things for myself. There's so much to tie in that ties in with our previous episodes, because I don't want to sound super repetitive, but being single really allows you to just be so comfortable and confident with who you are, where your boundaries are so much higher and stronger, and it's much harder for someone to come in and tear that down, or for you to allow someone to come in and tear that down. I'm a lot more confident that whoever else comes into my life, they're gonna compliment me and not take away from me like I've allowed to happen before. And I still got years before I need to worry about marriage or settling down or anything in that realm, but I'm very glad that I'm aware of this right now, being 21, and it really allows me to just be comfortable with myself, and being single in my 20s, because that's a lot of fun.
Girl, I wish I had done that. It's so fun.
But it adds so much to your story and your perspective and what you can give to people. So that's where we complement each other.
It really is.
That's our whole relationship here.
We're having opposite experiences, right? And that's a great thing.
Well, they're so opposite yet so similar.
Yeah.
But I'm very content being single. And if you are jumping from relationship to relationship, there's definitely an underlying thing there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something you need to confront. And I wish I'd confronted it earlier, frankly.
Well, I feel like a lot of it is you're scared to feel quote-unquote alone.
For sure. 100%.
Go to our making and maintaining friendships episode.
Yes, that's a great one to revert back to.
Because, there's such a difference between being alone and lonely. Because honestly, I've felt lonelier being in my previous relationships than I do right now being single. And it's because I'm nurturing both myself and the friendships around me, instead of solely making time for my partner only.
Exactly. I always think back to this one particular moment when I was serving at a restaurant, and this was maybe maximum 4 months ago. And I'm having a lovely chat with this family, and they're getting to know me, I'm getting to know them. And they find out how old I am, and they're like, "Oh, so you're married?" And it's like, "No." "Oh, you have a boyfriend?" "No." And they're like, "Oh, why not?" And you know what? It just, at that point, it's the thing that came out of my mouth was, because I haven't found anybody worth marrying. And do you know what? There was a grandmother at the table, and she just looked at me and she just went, "Good for you." Nice. And I was like, yes, but seriously though, if that's, why aren't you married yet?
Because I know my worth.
And there's no one in my life so far that I have met who has been worthy of, settling me down,
But we need to change the narrative of, being single, especially in your later ages of that being a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. We need to start romanticizing being single.
It's honestly so fun.
See it all over TikTok, romanticize your life. Do it. Or romanticize being single too.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a relationship is what's romanticized, and we need to change that, because it can be cool, especially if you're in a good, healthy relationship. But being single is also pretty dang cool.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah. I was gonna say the F word, but
don't do that.
no, because I don't want to have to edit that out.
No.
We're clean over here. But heck yeah, I love being single.
So I guess we'll finish with a quote that I read today that I really love. It's from Louisa May Alcott, who was a novelist and a self-described spinster. And she was around in the mid to late 1800s.
We're going way back with this.
We're going way back. She said, "Liberty is a better husband than love to many of us." I just want to say, cheers, Louisa May.
I want to say that was so ahead of her time, but it really wasn't. Women just didn't have the voice or the ability to express themselves in that way.
Not the
good on
ability,
her.
the freedom to
Yeah.
express themselves.
Yeah, there we go. That's a better word. But so good on her for doing it.
On that note,
I love being single, and I, for the most part, love being a woman.
yeah.
There are a few consequences, but they're due to the fault of the patriarchy, so
In any
I'm
case,
not held responsible.
I hope you found today's episode entertaining, insightful. I hope you learned something.
I hope if you're in the shoes of, if you're single and you're at all feeling in any way, shape, or form like bad about it, or like you're lesser than because you don't have a partner, I hope this changed your mind.
Me too.
There was another quote about the half.
Oh yeah, I
This one's a
read
fun one.
this somewhere else. This one was really So somebody asked this person, do you have another half? And that person said, no, I'm a whole person.
You don't need anyone else.
You sure don't.
If anyone else comes into your life, they better compliment you, not complete you. You complete yourself.
You're a whole person.
They're whole people.
We're whole people. We'll see you next week. Wait, I'm going to do the millennial version.
Mine looks crisper.
Okay.
If you're listening to the audio version of this, we're doing finger hearts. And mine looks better.
Sure, whatever you think.
It really does. Or here's the K-pop one.
Oh, this one's cute. Ciao! Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate your input, so feel free to reach out to us with any feedback, comments, or suggestions for future episodes.
If you would like to support us, please be sure to leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform and subscribe so you never miss us.
See you next week.
Toodles.